Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Julie Smyth. Today's top stories. Senator Cummins says, "I'm sorry, but won't resign." Ireland looks set to lose the EU trade portfolio in a shake-up of commissioners' duties. Now is not the right time for pubs to reopen, according to the HSE's chief clinical officer. And in sport, Sam Bennett wears the green jersey in the Tour de France. Fine Gael Senator John Cummins has apologised profusely for his attendance at an ill-fated golf dinner in Clifton 2 weeks ago. Ceann Comhairle Sean O'Friel described the dinner as collective crass stupidity in the Dáil yesterday. Senator Cummins has lost the party whip as a result, but says he won't resign as he feels that would be giving up. Speaking to Damien Tiernan, he said he wished he had never gone.
It was a serious mistake. I know I've let a lot of people down by my attendance at it, and I want to apologise again profusely for it. It was never my intention to hurt anyone, but I do appreciate that I have hurt and I have angered a lot of people.
He said he doesn't feel resigning is the right thing to do.
Look, I thought about it. I did, absolutely. But, I think that would be given up. It'd be given up on the people that have supported me heretofore, and, it'd be letting down as well what I've been taught as growing up as a little boy, which was to try and make up for your mistakes.
Ireland looks set to lose the EU trade portfolio in a shake-up of commissioners' duties. Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is to reshuffle her team following the resignation of Phil Hogan as a result of the Clifton controversy. The government will this week nominate a woman and a man for consideration for the job, but it's widely believed the new Irish commissioner will not be appointed to the Department of Trade. Fianna Fáil backbench TD Jim OCallaghan believes the government made a miscalculation in calling for Phil Hogan to consider his position.
There are other countries in the EU that have a different perspective of trade than we do. They have a protectionist attitude. We want an open trade environment. That's what Phil Hogan and an Irish person was bringing to the portfolio. And I think by losing it, we've damaged the country's national interest.
No more than 6 people are allowed at a table in restaurants and cafes from now on, and a record must be kept of what customers order. Fáilte Ireland has updated its guidelines for the industry to stop the spread of COVID-19. Kim Buckley reports.
There should be a maximum of 6 people from 3 separate households at a table in a cafe or restaurant from now on. Businesses and services must keep record of what each person orders, and the time and date of customers' arrival must be noted. The name and contact details of one person per party must be recorded for both walk-ins and bookings, and all details will be kept on file for 28 days. When it comes to drinks, all straws must be individually wrapped, and embellishment or decoration of glasses like cocktail umbrellas should be minimised. The new guidelines come as the Dáil debates new powers for Gardaí to shut down pubs and restaurants who aren't complying.
Now is not the right time for pubs to reopen, according to the HSE's chief clinical officer. Several high-ranking members of Cabinet, including the Justice Minister and the Health Minister, have indicated pubs may be able to open once new legislation giving additional powers to Gardaí is passed. However, Dr Colm Henry, who's also a member of NPHET, says it's still not safe to reopen.
While it's high on the agenda of NPHET and in terms of our plan to try and reopen society and to restore some sense of normalcy, now with the opening of schools and with the trends we've seen in recent weeks, with that 14-day instance of 33 per 100,000, and indeed the slight trend in older people in the recent week or two, we've seen 70 cases over 75 in the past 2 weeks. Now is not the right time.
€3 million has been stolen through fake investment scams so far this year. 65 people across the country, 17 of them in Munster, have been conned into investing in bogus opportunities in the first 8 months of 2020. Gardaí say the figure could be higher as many victims don't report the crime due to embarrassment. Detective Chief Superintendent Pat Lorden says website pop-ups and cold calls are used to lure people in.
And in reality, I can understand why people would fall for it. Interest rates in general throughout the world are not good at the moment, so people are looking for opportunities to get better interest rates and better return. But I'm afraid you will not get it from these websites. They're set up by criminals, they're run by criminals, and at the end of the day, you will not get your money back.
A Waterford TD says some of the boards of management at schools fear they may be liable if there's an outbreak of COVID-19. Mark O'Cahasig raised the issue at the Dáil's COVID committee. The Green Party deputy says some school buildings mean social distancing is physically not possible.
You have 34 children perhaps within a small confined space. It's not possible to observe social distancing. The principal has been advised in this case that the one classroom is forming the bubble. But members of their board of management are worried in terms of liability, and if there's an outbreak within that classroom, that somebody will come back to them and say, well, social distancing wasn't observed properly in this classroom. So can the Minister give a certain amount of comfort to boards of management and principals who find themselves in this situation, that they will have the support of the department if they take every possible step they can?
The Minister for Education is Norma Foley.
Where there is a specific issue, and I want to acknowledge that there has been excellent engagement with our department on an ongoing basis. We have invited schools to engage with us. There would be an opportunity for the department, officials in the department, to work on the ground in the unique circumstances that apply to every individual school. We are happy to do that on an ongoing basis and to continue to do that now, and indeed our helpline remains open. But equally so, it was for purposes of that nature that monies that have previously been referred to, like the minor works grant, were made available to facilitate schools to reconfigure space.
Meanwhile, Independent TD Matt Shanahan says schools should be providing inexpensive computer tablets to students. The Dáil's COVID committee has been told that students are being disadvantaged by the lack of access to broadband in some areas. The Independent Deputy was under the impression that schools are providing laptops to a lot of students.
Let's say if there is a difficulty with learning in terms of accessing the internet, why not put programmes onto those laptops where they can work on the exercises at night at home on the laptops and bring that work in the following day. I presume we are talking about kids who are in the following week and have it assessed, rather than saying because we don't have broadband that this leads to discrimination. Surely there's a way of getting some of these programmes put onto the laptops where kids can work away regardless of whether broadband is available or not.
TUI General Secretary Michael Gillespie says their research shows the vast majority of students are relying on their phones.
Whatever was being put up on the school websites, they were using their phones to contact it. The phones don't have the capacity to put up programmes and etc. So they were actually just using their phone to go onto the websites in the school, trying to then translate that into the homework they were doing. It's not just about a lack of broadband, it's a lack of devices in homes. Even if households have broadband, they may not have enough devices for all the school-going children to use at the same time.
This week, both primary and secondary school students made their return to the classroom. Our reporter Aoife Kearns went to Waterpark National School, who opened their doors last Thursday. She spoke to caretaker Willie Chester, who said they got great support from the parents in preparing to reopen.
There was a short time limit. We had 3 weeks, and we really had no idea of where to what to do. First of all, where to start, and it was essential really that the parents came in and gave a helping hand. We'd have been lost without them, really.
Acting Principal Aileen Moriarty said it was a particularly difficult lockdown for them due to the untimely death of one of their students.
Yeah, it was a very difficult time. It was at the very start of lockdown when everybody was getting used to being at home, and we just got this news that one of our students tragically passed away. So it was just so sudden and so awful that we were all away from each other. Usually in these circumstances, if anything ever happened like this, we would have psychologists on stream with us, and they'd come straight in, they'd talk to us, talk to the children, help us out in any way we could. But we couldn't have any of that.
Aoife Daly is in 4th class. She says the school experience is different, but it's okay.
The teachers will have to wear screens or masks. Every time you enter the classroom and leave the classroom, you'd have to put on hand sanitizer. And you're not allowed to share things. You have to stick to your own pod. There's a lot of changes. I don't really mind them. It is important to have the changes, but I don't really mind them.
And you can hear the full report by Aoife Kearns on our website, WLRFM.com.
Sports News on WLR.
With Virgin Media Waterford. Want super fast broadband today? Drop into Virgin Media George's Street and take it home with you. Easy as that.
Very good afternoon from the Sports Desk. I'm Nigel Kelly. Starting with cycling, where Sam Bennett is wearing the green jersey for the first time in the Tour de France today. He leads the sprinters' points race after a third place finish yesterday. His father Michael says the effort that's gone into achieving this has been massive.
I've seen him give up his teenage years. I've seen him, dedicate the last 15 years of his life for this moment to get to the Tour and hopefully be successful at the Tour. I mean, obviously he's already been successful at the Tour and hopefully he's shown that he deserves to be on that stage, and I think he's doing that. So I'm thrilled for him. We know the amount of years that he's put into it. So, we just trust in him and great faith in him, and there's great support for him.
Stage 6 is underway with the riders travelling from Leithel to Mont Égal. There's about 135 kilometres left to go, with Greg Van Avermaet virtually in the lead as he is part of the breakaway with a 3-minute gap. Ireland's Nicholas Roach is part of that breakaway. Moving to soccer, where the Republic of Ireland midfielder Jeff Hendrick hopes that that supporters can be patient with the team under the new management setup. Stephen Kenny has had just a few days to work with his squad ahead of his first game in charge this evening. Bulgaria are the opposition as the new season of the UEFA Nations League begins. Hendrick is looking forward to the fresh start.
We're going to try implement everything we've been working on, we've seen on videos, we've been told, and we'll try and bring that into the games. You might see glimpses of it, you might see a lot of it, but like you said, it's new players, and we just have to try and get that gel together and get used to that, I suppose.
Moving to Waterford FC, who return to league action tomorrow night when they host St Pat's. The Blues defeated the Saints 1-0 on the opening day of the season. Manny Smyth says the aim is to secure another victory.
Big game. I don't think the last two games would deserve the results that what happened last 15 switch off, but we're here to rectify that this game coming. We look more at our game rather than theirs, stuff that we need to improve on, but we'll do that over the next couple of days and then look forward to Friday.
Friday's game kicks off at 7:15 and will be broadcast here on WLR thanks to McConnell Motors. Ray Scott and Matt Keane will be on commentary duty. Moving to the World Rally Championship, where Waterford's Craig Breen will be back in action this weekend when he gets the green light at Rally Estonia. Breen and co-driver Paul Nagel will be in the third Hyundai i20 at the event, which gets underway tomorrow evening. He managed a podium in Estonia 2 years ago, so it's a place he knows well. That's according to RTE Sport and Irish Daily Star columnist John Kenny.
The last time he did a World Rally Championship round was Sweden. He had up to do Finland, but Finland's been postponed and cancelled this year, which is a real shame, which is the big one for this year. So it's going to start again in Estonia. It's a place he knows well. He's competed in the event. This will be his 5th time. So with the World Rally Championship starting again, he's part of a rotation system alongside the Belgian Thierry Neuville and Oyt Tanek, who are the top 2 in that team.
The duo finished 7th at Rally Sweden in February, the only WRC event for him this year so far, and racing in Estonia is underway tomorrow. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media, Waterford.